Hey everybody, my name's Jonathan, and welcome to 604 Seconds. That's a super cheesy, clever name. We discovered that 604 seconds is 10 minutes and 4 seconds. That's why that's on the clock. And what this podcast is going to be about is about having conversations about what youth ministry is looking like in Metro Vancouver. And so what I want to be able to do every month is bring in a youth pastor, and we're going to talk about what God's doing here in Vancouver. I really believe that God's doing a work in Vancouver that's really special.
Absolutely.
I'm probably a little biased because I'm from here and have been doing youth ministry in the city for a long time, but it's very evident to me that God wants to do something really special here and tell a really interesting story. And so we thought having a moment like this would be a way to loop in more people into what that story might be and how to participate in that, and honestly wrestling through what that might be. And so our first guest today is Matt Johnson, who has the privilege of, actually, you tell us who you are. What's your role in the network? What do you do?
Should we start this?
Oh, I'm sorry. We actually have,
Okay.
yes, we have a timer to hold us to the 604 second bit. So here we go.
And we start now.
Perfect.
Perfect. Cool. Hey, friends. How's it going? My name is Matt Johnson. I assure you I'm not that Matt Johnson. There are like thousands of us. But yeah, Matt Johnson. And
One of them's a murderer, actually.
Yes, I've been pulled over at the border, and I'm like, I assure you, that's not me. But have been serving as a youth pastor specifically in BC for 13 years now.
It's a long time. You just
Yeah.
turned 40 this summer.
And I just turned 40 as well.
Are you allowed
so-
to be youth pastor after 40?
I don't know. As long as God keeps me in here and I'm not creepy, I think I should keep going. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm allowed. Mention in the comments. No, but I'm not sure. But yeah, God has definitely broken my heart for Vancouver just year after year, both my wife and I. Just serving in youth ministry. And so, yeah, hopefully it's been helpful youth ministry. But yeah, we've been serving together through a few churches and also to networking with other churches. So, this is affiliated with the 604 Network, and I have the privilege of serving as one of the hub leaders at the Vancouver hub. And so this is a monthly gathering of youth pastors where we get to network, be in a relationship together, do stuff together, but we get to ask questions on how are you doing, but also what are you doing? What is God doing? What is ministry, discipleship? What does life with your students look like? What are you calling them to do, asking them to do, empowering them to do? And man, to just be in conversation with my brothers and sisters who are answering the same call to do student ministry month to month. It's just amazing. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
You've been working real hard for a long time at pulling youth pastors together.
I have.
And I would be curious to know, what is the most annoying and frustrating part of that, and what's the most fruitful part? Because you've been leading not only just the Vancouver hub of youth pastors, but you've also been trying to give some direction to leading the leaders of other hubs in the other suburbs. That's like herding cats, man. So like,
for sure.
What are the pros and cons of that job?
Oh man, it's I don't want to offend anyone. No, I think sometimes the hard part can be, when you're wanting to do something with someone, they also have plans of what they want to do.
Absolutely.
Or what ministry looks like for
Yeah.
them. And so it's kind of hard where you're like, hey, let's do this thing. They're like, yeah, but we're already doing this thing.
Yeah.
And man, it's for the same thing. It's for the same kingdom. But sometimes it's just, it feels like that's a unnecessary speed bump sometimes. But at the same time, things are happening. So sometimes that's frustrating when you come in, not frustrating, just disappointing.
Yeah.
It's like, God, thank you for this. And like, hey, this is what God's inviting us to do. Well, cool, because he's inviting us to do this. I'm like, how do we do it together?
It's an audacious claim to think that, like, I've felt that way too, where it's like, who gave you the plan that we're all supposed to follow?
Exactly.
And that's a tension-filled thing of trying to, unity's beautiful. I think Jesus prayed for it. Unity for unity's sake, I think, is really annoying and pointless. But unity unto something,
Very true.
really important. I think it's really refining. And so I just wanted to thank you for all the work that you've done
Oh, man.
in keeping everybody together and keeping a narrative alive that's like compelling enough. So that kind of brings me to that second question: is what's the fruit that you've seen through unity, through your efforts of bringing everyone together? And the whole time they're asking, why exactly? And for what purpose exactly? Like, is there fruit in and of itself along the journey? Because I don't think any of us could sit here confidently and sketch, on a whiteboard, here's the plan, everybody, just sign up here. I mean, that would kind of miss the purpose. I don't know if we'll ever get there. I don't think that's even where we're going, is to have some plan that it works for everyone. So there must be some kind of fruit along the way that makes it worth it. Could you put your finger on what that might be?
Man, I think just the consistency of God. Like this is his city, and he continues to reveal to each of us just relationship by relationship of why we're here and why we're doing what we're doing. He sustains us. And so whenever you have conversations and there's just a bit of trust or there's a bit of, just, I don't know, just spiritual wins like that is just always so fun to be a part of. And so it's like, oh man, this is what it's about. It's knowing that we are doing something in this city together, not because you're creative or because I came up with something, but because God loves this city. And for some reason, he's opened our ears and our eyes and our hearts to be able to do that together. So that has been super, super fun to just see fruit in that way, not just, successful events or, I don't know, anything grand, but just when you get together and people are saying, man, my student's life has been changed because of Jesus. Or when we go to the schools and pray together, like they see that God's presence is there. Like those are the wins. Those are the cool things. So
something that have struck me for, it's got to be close to a decade of you and I trying to work together for Unity stuff. It's been a long time. And
thanks for sticking with me.
I know it's been a slog. You were one of the cats I tried to herd back in the day.
I was a cat. That's right.
So one of the things that has been really notable to me in this last decade of trying to figure out what the purpose of Unity even is in a city amongst youth pastors. Does it have a purpose, or are we just filling people's calendars with more meetings that aren't unto anything? I've really wrestled with that tension a lot. One of the hypotheses that's kind of bubbled up is, does a macro context, like does a citywide context, narrative, mission, hope, problem, does that deepen a local church's ability to make disciples?
Wow.
Like, does a youth pastor being involved in some citywide thing, being connected to schools, serving students from maybe other youth groups on a campus, talking about that at youth, bringing large-scale, seemingly like distant problems into a local church youth group environment, that kind of context, does that shape the youth ministry in a healthy way? Does it deepen the discipleship? Does it grow leaders? And so, I mean, for me, and I used to just think this is because like the way I operate, I'm kind of like when you take the APEST tests, I'm always like the apostolic person who wants to think at 30,000 feet and conquer big problems. So I just thought that was something that
need you.
Yeah, well, I just thought that was something that spoke to me only. Yeah. Like, give me a big problem, give me the thickest ice, I'm going to smash through it. But I've come to see over this last bunch of years that it seems as though when leaders join a problem that's bigger than even their own local church, that it blesses that local church. And I don't know if you've seen that at all.
Absolutely.
How does that pan out in your youth ministry? And so if there's youth pastors watching this going, I keep getting emails about stuff that I'm supposed to be a part of. And like, I guess more butts in the seats at Westside is nice because it's the better Instagram photo. But like, is there a reason why I would join something bigger than me? And how does it bless my students? Because that's what I've actually been hired and called by God to do. So like, sell me on a macro context, Matt.
Excuse me. Absolutely. When I went to Bible college, I was prepared in such a way to basically, if you build the most awesome thing, people will come. But I wasn't taught how to build a team. I was just taught how to build the thing. And as I've stayed in ministry longer, I guess long enough, I've seen I don't really build things all that well. I actually need a team for this. And I think, especially just coming out of the pandemic, we've seen that, man, long gone are the days of if you build it, they will come. You have to go to them. I can't go to all the kids in this city. I want to, but I can't. But when you and I get to have conversations, when we meet in our hubs, when the youth pastors of churches get together to basically see, like, what are we doing again? Like, I just love it because it opens up my eyes. It takes off the blinders to the real problem that's going on. So yes, my kids, I want to focus on them, but I actually want to focus on all that I can, like their schools and the things that they're going to be entering. And that can be a lot for one person. But when I have you, when I have someone else, someone that I can talk to, just ask questions like, what do you think God is doing here? How do you think the Spirit is moving? Like, you need those voices because it can't
Build your faith.
Absolutely build your faith.
That's great, Matt. So what do you think we have an opportunity for here moving forward with the small time that we have left?
We have an opportunity to, I think, rewrite the job description for a youth pastor in Vancouver. I am so excited for a podcast like this. Like, I hope it benefits all youth pastors, but specifically, we're going to be hearing from voices in Vancouver. And so what does that need to look like? Because like I said, I think long gone are the days of if you build it, they will come. We need to go to them. So yes, let's look at our students on our job description, but let's look at all the students. And what is that going to entail? It's going to entail going to them, going to their places, oh, we did it. But going to their schools, going to their places where they do life and going to them. And so, man, we have a real opportunity to say, God, what does my time as a youth pastor need to look like right now?
Pretty fun. So you don't have to figure out those questions alone. We can do it together.
That's right.
Join a hub in your city. Tune in.
Third Thursday of every month.
And
there you go.
Hopefully these conversations serve you as well. We'll try to keep them just that short. And maybe this helps create an environment with which we can continue to have conversations about what that might look like in our city. And I'm excited for this. And so,
Man, thank you.
We'll see you at whatever's next. Thanks, guys.
See you soon.